Okay.
Let's go and do a podcast, man.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
We need to make this lively. So, hello. Welcome to ThatITShow.
Podcast.
This sounded like bad 80s.
That's where we were raised up, man. So
But you're missing the necklace with the pins on it.
I used to have that as well, and long hair. No, what I'm missing is a stack of guitar amps.
Yes.
That would then be perfect 80s.
Okay, but jogging aside,
Jogging aside,
let's do the podcast.
Let's. So, what I had in mind today is actually a kind of semi-known story already, or maybe even more than semi. That's been going around for the past couple of weeks. I read an article on one of the websites that a lot of job seekers are using ChatGPT to write their resumes.
Yes.
So I wisely spent my time today going through some of the capabilities that it has.
Okay.
Or less than wise, of course, wisely. And I wanted to have a chat about that to see how you feel about it, what you think about it as well, and maybe to kind of like try ChatGPT in, let's say, writing different types of resumes. Because maybe for different, let's say, IT jobs. That was something that I did, and I found the results to be, a little bit above average, sometimes very good, sometimes bad. What you can say about it is that ChatGPT is well read.
Okay, let me just quickly do a quick distinction because I was thinking about it, and what got me thinking about it was the actual AI. Mm-hmm. And my question is, do you mean, when you say writing CVs, do you mean that AI is writing your CV for you, mm-hmm. or you are inputting the data about your life and accomplishments and everything else, and then AI is sorting through that and creating a CV that makes sense?
Very good question.
So is AI there to make you look good, mm-hmm. or is the AI there to organize your skill set so that a person who is reading your CV understands who you are?
Let's say that we are going to do 2 episodes, but this one is going to be about the A version of that. So I'm just here to kind of like not input any data about myself that's personal, maybe some descriptive information, but not all that much, and just ask ChatGPT to do a, let's say, general CV for a specific job role with as less data as possible.
Can I, before we begin, do a quick, completely off-topic rant?
Of course.
In 30 seconds, to make you laugh. Because you said that we need to be more positive.
Okay.
Can we please ask Microsoft to use AI to go through LinkedIn mm-hmm. and sort everybody's CVs out? Completely batch. So batch processing of all the CVs to make them look nice.
And then send it to ChatGPT to chew it in. Like to eat.
No. Just weight them in, see who is naughty, who was not naughty, and then decide.
Are you making a Christmas party or something? List for the Santa Claus?
Yes, basically what I wanted to see is ChatGPT being used for good. So make those CVs at least sound nice, not sound like a total lie.
Yeah. LinkedIn is a place that's very special.
CV cesspit.
Yeah, it's CV centric on BS.
I wasn't saying centric. I was saying cesspit.
Yeah. Cesspool.
Cesspool of CVs. Yes.
Cesspool of CV is not written in a good way, or lying a lot.
And demonetized. Yes. Okay.
That's even better. Yeah, okay. So basically, I wanted to pick your brain on the topic of, let's say, just inputting basic information. Let's say I want you to write me a CV about, let's say, system engineering job, a developer job, a data scientist job, a digital marketing job, some of the stuff that we teach here actually at our university, because not because I want to promote that, it's more in lines of what we are actually involved with, so we kind of understand these topics a little bit better than, let's say, talking about, I don't know, finance. Because in finance, we are just, small peanuts there. But in these topics, we are quite well versed, in a sense.
Okay.
So I'm going to open the first one. I'm going to read you the excerpt from it. And I want to pick your brain and see your reaction. So I asked GPT, please write me a funny CV for fun CV, keyword fun, for system network engineer with 10 years of experience.
Okay.
Which would be, let's say, you or me 10 years ago or so, 15 years ago. Doesn't really matter.
20.
Okay.
Okay.
And ChatGPT translated my wish to be funny
Yes.
by wanting to use a metaphor, which I was all for. That was cool. So your name is Chuck Norris. Objective of your, let's say, professional life and of your CV is to continue my reign as the most badass system network engineer in the world.
Okay.
Experience: developed a system that could handle Chuck Norris level of traffic without breaking a sweat.
Okay.
Configured a network so secure that even Chuck Norris himself couldn't break in, not that he would ever want to.
Okay.
Implemented a disaster recovery plan that could survive a roadhouse click from Chuck Norris.
Okay.
Built a server rack that was so sturdy it could withstand a Chuck Norris roundhouse kick. And successfully resolved network outages by staring at the cables until they fixed themselves. It's what's called a Chuck Norris technique.
Okay. So it did all the Chuck Norris memes. So this is completely okay. The idea of this is okay. But my problem is that such a CV makes sense when you're making memes. It doesn't make sense when you're trying to create a CV.
Okay.
Because it lacks the things that I would want to see in a CV.
Okay.
So how many years of experience? What does this make? What does this person actually do? So he is well versed in
Chuck Norrising everything.
Chuck Norrising everything, but what does he do? So it is a fun CV. But I think that this is just an exercise in creating a nice text that is going to be meme friendly, but nothing else other than this.
Okay.
It is fun text.
Let me continue. Skills. Next part of the CV. Of course, Chuck Norris again. Chuck Norris level coding skills, which means I can code with my bare fists. We're going to come back to this in a second. Expertise in network security. Nobody messes with Chuck Norris's network. The ability to bench press servers, because why not? Mastery of all Chuck Norris approved programming languages, Python, Java, C++, and Chuck script. We're coming back to that one as well. And Chuck Norris level troubleshooting skills. I can fix a problem before it even happens.
Okay.
The first conclusion that I get from this is the ChatGPT doesn't know anything about what system or network engineer does. Because system or network engineers do not code in Java or C++ or any script.
But I would suggest otherwise. The problem is that from all the CVs that I have seen, and all the bragging about that all the CVs do, a lot of the time, people who are inexperienced in network engineering also say that they're basically God-level coders. They're basically able to troubleshoot everything, do Python, C, C++, C Sharp, C minor, C whatever. And the problem is that almost all of the CVs do this. Yes?
There is a reason for that.
Yes?
Do you know which one it is?
CVs are there to just do a small screen about what you are trying to say about yourself, okay?
Yes, of course. We already went through that. That's obviously true.
Yes,
but
okay.
Look at it not from the perspective of the person sending CV. What do the companies do when they ask for CVs and or post that they're seeking people for the job?
But it's part of the. I think this is has become part of an etiquette.
No, I would call it a game.
I wouldn't even call it a game. I would just say, okay, you are not doing a good enough job if your job proposal or job request for CVs doesn't include being able to cook, being able to drive, being able to
bench press the universe,
being able to use a front loader to load gravel and so on. So basically, both sides are doing it.
But it's obvious which side started that.
I think that this is just a war of attrition in who can lie the best. And right now we have a big problem there.
Yes.
Because let me just take over for a second.
Go ahead.
And say one thing. When people are saying that they're going to use ChatGPT or whatever AI there is for writing CVs, this is not a one-sided thing. So the other side, the people who are offering jobs, are going to use AIs to sort through CVs. So basically,
Why is that?
Because it's simpler.
There's another reason.
Yes, the biggest reason is that I think in the next, I will call it 2 weeks, you will get a particular AI that is going to be able to submit CVs in your name. So I could probably, I will get a tool that is going to go to the LinkedIn. I'm going to say, okay, I need a job in network security. And then it is going to automatically do job applications for me for thousands of jobs. And this is going to happen. You know that this is going to happen.
It is, absolutely.
So a normal application or normal job proposal for people is going to get tens of thousands of CVs that are going to be written by AI.
Okay, that's already happening now. That's my point. Without the AI, that was already happening for years.
But in thousands. Now it's going to be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. And now, if you write a CV by hand, by yourself, you are going to basically be invisible. Because it is going to be attrition by numbers. So you are going to be able to create a CV that is going to be generated by AI, but also different enough so that the AI on the other side doesn't reject it.
Okay, basically the first phase of that was overwhelming amount of applications to certain jobs happening, which made companies that were at least let's say up to speed with technology and or which were trying to be as good as possible towards job seekers. Not everybody is like that. They were trying to automate that so that they can have some kind of a selection process. But there's also a second side to that story. A lot of companies gave up on that idea. And then that's the reason why you have so many referral-related things within enterprise companies. A lot of companies decided that they're just going to go internally to their employees and ask, hey, dude, do you know somebody that we could hire for a job? Can you please recommend him, please?
Yes, this is basically completely destroying job market.
Yes.
Because getting a job now becomes a discipline that requires you to know somebody. Okay, not that we in Croatia don't understand how this works.
Yes, we do.
But this is not something that a lot of companies are used to doing.
You did it, let's say, a year ago when we hired our colleague as well. You recommended him.
Yes, but recommendations is something else.
I posted a job application via our HR. We got 5 or 6 different. You didn't read that. I had to.
Yes, okay.
The 5 or 6 CVs, none of them were even close to being a match for what we were looking for. And you jumped in, Deus Ex Machina thingy, thank you very much, and offered one of your, let's say, people who you knew, or let's say became a friend as well with, to fill that position. And it was like a slam dunk.
Yes, but I see that the future is going to hold a future that is going to be all of this, but without official job application.
Agreed completely.
Because people are not going to even risk posting on LinkedIn, because it is going to make their life miserable, and nothing is going to come out of it.
People who are job hunters or companies who are searching for people that they want to employ, they are going to just give it up.
Yes. And the other thing that is going to happen is that people are going to get used to being constantly rejected, because
or not contacted at all, which is worse.
Yes, but constantly rejected. By constant, I mean hundreds of thousands of times per month, because AI gives you the ability to apply for thousands of jobs per day. So if I create a script that's going to be able to say, okay, I need a job in network security. The script is going to apply to every network security job on the planet. I'm going to say, okay, I need remote-only jobs. So this is going to happen. So I'm going to basically be applying to thousands of jobs per day. And then all of those jobs are going to be unavailable because everybody is going to apply to them. So basically what we are going to do is we are going to just drive up the traffic for the LinkedIn. Nobody is going to do anything about it.
Yes, there's actually a secondary side effect of that that's already happening for years now, and both of us are a part of that as well. This is going to fuel a huge rise in the economy of, let's say, the gig-based economy.
Yes.
Short-term jobs that are going to be whatever the let's say the discipline is. In IT, it's been happening for many years, and there are a couple of different reasons for that. Not only the CV-related reasons, some of them are tax-related as well, and money-related, and whatnot. And of course, there's always that thing that you could argue that companies are actually afraid of hiring people if they're not 100% sure that they could pay them over a sustained period of time.
Okay, this is one thing, but as I said, the job searching and job creation process is going to be much, much, much harder.
It is.
Because the recruiters are going to have a hell of a time trying to find actual people, because they're going to speak to, I won't name any names, so I'm just going to say, okay, fast food style CVs that are going to be good enough, but without any actual content in it. And then people who need to read this are going to use the artificial intelligence to sort through all of this. So I see just an enormous waste of resources on...
and a lot of unhappy people.
No. Just first, people are going to get used to it. They're going to say, okay, I need to send 20,000 CVs in order to get a job. Then it is going to become 30,000 CVs. 50,000 CVs.
Well, big numbers.
And you are not going to care because you're going to say, okay, your AI is going to be sending CVs for you, sorting to the answers and say, okay, you actually got one answer in the last month. But you sent 37,000, whatever, 100 CVs.
There's one other thing that's happening, and I know that you are aware of that because you were a witness to that.
So to make you laugh, let's create a CV as a service.
CV, that's awesome. We have to make a website for that. That's awesome.
So CV as a service.
And you need to pay 1 cent per CV.
Okay, this is a good idea.
Bora, here we come.
Yes, so 1 cent per CV, and you just need to input 4 keywords in your name.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, our CV as a service is going to jump to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to crawl all of your information.
Amazon Jobs and so on.
Amazon Jobs, whatnot. Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, I wanted to say that there's another thing that's happening on the side from that, which you were a witness of on many occasions, especially here as the company that we work for basically trains people for the situations that we are discussing, which is that a lot of companies are going to become very close friends to people who are training people.
Yes.
This is something that's been happening in our lives for 6, 7, 8 years, especially for, how should I put this? Let's say maybe a little bit above the pay grade of just a regular, let's say, external teacher or something like that, more in line of, let's say, internal employees. Some managerial roles, etc., are constantly overwhelmed with the questions from our partner companies. Do you have somebody? Do you have somebody? Send somebody. It's basically the same idea that we discussed from your perspective applied to a company.
Yes, they basically are looking for people who are talking to a lot of employees or employable people.
No, we are basically filters for them.
Yes, we are the filters. No,
we are AI for them.
I wouldn't call us filters. I would call us connections, because we are connecting to a pool of people. And we don't care where anybody works.
Yes.
Because we are getting paid for the education. So I see no problem with this.
Me neither. I take great pride in us doing that.
Yes, okay, but I want to just see a business model in it. So
it's a CV as a service, and it's then call a manager that knows somebody for as a service.
No. Just if I need to take a call from whatever manager is there out there, I'm just going to have a special number that is going to be able to be called, or I'm going to hand out vouchers for people to have prepaid credits for me to recommend people.
On a semi-humorous note, my dad told me that I should have that kind of a number like 15 years ago for troubleshooting general IT problems.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not the worst idea in the world. Okay, let's move on.
But me hating users is one of the reasons why I don't have that number.
No, you are not. You don't hate users. You just hate level 1 support with users.
I have a distinctive opinions on all of the users. But yes, level 1 support is the worst.
Yes.
Okay.
Printers and stuff. That's what we love.
Let's not go not go into the void.
Yes, that's not. Okay, so in the next step, I was not really happy with what ChatGPT wrote to me, which was obvious, and it's not good. And I told it, write me another one, but lay off with the Chuck Norris thing, use something else. And the next metaphor that he used was, of course, Jason Bourne. Because why not? Whatever. It was always going to be some kind of an action hero. Objective of my CV and my application to your, for example, non-existent virtual job, to bring my unparalleled skills as a system network engineer to the team that values agility, adaptability, and resourcefulness. A little bit arrogant, but not bad.
You are lacking synergy.
Yes, synergy. Yes. That's awesome. We love those keywords. Experience. Built a network that could evade detection from the CIA, and trust me, that's not easy. Developed a system that could analyze massive amounts of data faster than I can take down an enemy operative, and then it goes off the rails. It becomes completely useless. Skills, expertise in network security. I don't take chances with sensitive data. Proficiency, in a list of programming languages, which is not system engineering job. Mastery of network architecture and design. I can map out a network faster than I can disarm a bomb. That's cool. Semi. Ability to quickly adapt to new technologies and environments. Very good point. Superhuman level troubleshooting skills. I've solved problems that would make other engineers give up. I would write it in a different way, but still very good, let's say, point, out of which, and out of the first CV that we were discussing, you could take some hints and create, let's say, a decent one.
Okay, but
half of a decent one.
I'm still bothered with the proficiency in multiple programming languages, and then including Python, Java, and C++.
Me as well.
Because this is overselling it. It doesn't make any sense to have a person like this because
that person does not exist.
He may exist, but he's not a network person.
Okay, so that's actually something that I wanted to comment on before, and I think we could kind of like wrap this discussion about system engineering jobs in very simple terms. Because system engineering is actually a very good metaphor for what I'm about to say. If you go through the CVs for people looking for system engineers, network engineers, security engineers, people who are into IT, admin plus types of jobs and above from that, most of the CVs are going to, most of the job requirements there, so job hunters, companies looking for employees are going to have, I need you to do ITIL, PMI, C++, Java, Python, shell script, Ansible, storage, networking, security. I need you to be proficient in 5 different real-world languages and 50 other skills which have absolutely nothing to do with IT. Or IT, let's say, administrative/engineering jobs. We have a metaphor for that we use for such, let's say, job requirements. We call them people want to have astronauts for employees.
I'm usually calling those people no-stack people because they are basically saying that you need entire computer sciences to be able to pull a cable. And
how many network engineers or physics engineers do you need to change a cable?
And this is one of the biggest things that I see when we're talking about all of this. Because what I see is that AI is basically good at providing a template and then filling it up. And this is what AI actually does. So it's providing a lexical template and then filling it up with some sort of information. I can see all the templates that you have here that are basically based on every low to mid-level engineer that is trying to apply for a job. Because when you see somebody who is actually somebody in the field, they are either going to have a one-pager CV, or they are just going to say, okay, my name is whatever, call me. And that's it. Because they don't...
Like that science paper from many years ago, which had only one sentence.
Yes, because the idea is that if you know what you're doing, other people also do. So you're going to get called. So for CVs, that are normal CVs, this is not going to work. This is going to create just enormous amount of communication that is going to be completely futile. Okay. And because on the other hand, it's going to be AI that is able to read CVs, and then this is going to break down into skills, nothing, troubleshoot. Nothing, troubleshoot. Nothing, networks. Because it's going to completely ignore different programming languages, different things, and it's going to try to do the deltas. So it's going to say, okay, everybody mentioned this. This person claims to know COBOL, whatever. So he's a COBOL programmer. And this,
boy, are you old.
Yes, but this is going to be probably the thing that actually differentiates people. Outlier differentiates people between a CV that was boilerplate CV and somebody who actually put some thought into it. And I think that the skill that is going to develop is going to be how to create a CV that is not too different from the rest, but has the keywords that are going to enable it to flow to the top of the recommended CVs that AI is going to read.
Okay. There's one more thing that I wanted to add to this. Let me pick your brain on this because it's a story that I haven't told you. We haven't discussed this before. But I would like to kind of try to connect this with our jobs, with IT education that we do. Okay? I know for a fact that some things are happening on the job market from the job seeker side, which I severely dislike. For example, I know of more than a few occasions in which a company was, posted a job requirement. They asked for CVs. They called people for some interviews. And for example, somebody coming from, fresh from college, applied for a job of consultant. Okay? Please wait. I'm going to get to the punchline very quickly. That person gets to the interview, gets, of course, questioned by a panel of experts from that company who are all way more experienced, educated, older, of course, than him. Doesn't really matter what the field is. In examples that I've heard of, and they were in the dozens, it's all IT, of course. And then after, let's say, the intro part of the interview, after they went through some of the stuff that person wrote on the CV, they asked that person, so what do you want to consult us on? And that person said, I want to consult you about everything.
And this is completely okay.
This is completely okay, not.
Yes, this is completely okay because this makes a selection job easier.
Oh, I agree.
Yes,
there's the door going.
Yes, Dunning-Kruger makes selection job easier.
Oh, I agree with you on that part.
So
definitely.
I'm completely all in for people who mistake being completely out of their league with being assertive. So I'm completely all for it. When I see somebody who is going to make a fool out of himself, I'm going to open the door and wide open and say, please come in, let's hear it.
Yeah, I want to have some laughs.
Yes, because I'm not laughing, but I want to see how deep his
delusion
is, or how deep his complete misunderstanding of the situation is, because he's not only misstating what he's able to do, but he also doesn't understand what other people are able to do.
Correct.
So when I go into a room where 5, 6 or 7 people are waiting for me, or are older than me, I usually expect that some of them are going to have much more experience in the particular things.
Of course.
What I want to know is which particular field they have expertise in. So when I'm half-heartedly try to see what is in the selection process, what is happening, because I know that you have done this, I have done this, go to an interview.
I do it for fun.
Yes, I do it for fun also. So I go to an interview to see what is going to happen. And the biggest problem is that sometimes people actually offer me a job because they say, okay, you don't look like a normal person that was here because you don't care about misrepresenting yourself. Because usually,
why should you?
Because usually I want to see what is the kind of people that is working in the company. So I can actually say, okay, if all of the people who are in the interview are smarter than me, this is completely great. This is great. But if I see that none of the people in the interview committee are smarter than me, then I see that
you can see the road full of problems.
Yes, then I want to have coffee with milk a little bit shorter. That's it. So because
good metaphor.
Because I just want to get this thing nicely done with. Because I don't want to be there. Because if they don't want to get the information from the people by using their best people, they're going to get a lot of misinformation from the people.
Correct. Okay. Next example is going to be about a programmer.
Okay.
Job. So again, I asked it to do, ChatGPT to do a, let's say, CV for a programmer. So the name of that non-existent person, Sarah programmer. Objective is to use my expertise in C#, .NET, and JavaScript to develop cutting-edge applications and create innovative solutions to complex problems. Experience: designed and developed web-based applications in C#, .NET, JavaScript that increased productivity by 20% for a major client. Implemented new features and optimized performance for existing application, resulting in whatever percent of better engagement. Collaborated, troubleshoot, mentor junior developers, sharing my knowledge and experience to help them grow in careers. There are 2 points that I want to make here. Thing number one, this is 100 times better than the system engineering jobs, which means that ChatGPT understands this better, but it's also a part of a series of questions that I was asking. So it kind of started learning about my questions as well and modifying the answers slightly. Maybe there were other people asking about similar things that, let's say, on a side or in the past, I don't know how many days or weeks. So this is way better.
Okay, but is it way better because, this is vague.
It is, but it's still way better.
Yes, but is it better? Do you think that is it better because the templates or normal CV for a software job is something that actually requires you to be much more specific about the actual programming, in contrast to the networking CV or networking template that always requires you to prove that networking is basically something you do in your spare time, but you're able to both code, work in the field, lift weights, and so on. Because
at the same time, yes.
Because I think this is the problem.
I agree with you.
I think that people who are trying to get a network engineer to sign in, they are trying to completely undersell the networking part. Because they see
and oversell stuff that is, astronaut.
They want to see a person who is going to be a good IT guy for everything and a network engineer.
And that's exactly what kind of I gathered from this as well. And it leads me to a conclusion, actually, because if this tool was kind of like trained on a data set of existing job applications by companies, then it's completely reasonable that it's getting these sorts of answers to system engineering and network engineering jobs, because those job applications that those job, let's say, searches that companies are doing, they're searching for their employees, are as vague as hell, unlike the programming ones. So it stands to reason that the answers that it is giving are exactly the same.
Yes, but what I see here is even more thing that is bothering me. I see that there is a huge overlap between what people are expecting from a person who is going to be a network engineer and security.
And a programmer.
No. And I don't see any overlap or any mention of security in the programming CV.
I agree with that as well.
So it seems to be that security is just
a void
that is going to be tacked on the network engineer, but it is not going to be something that a software engineer needs to know about. And this is incredibly shallow.
It is, and all of the CVs that I've got from ChatGPT mention nothing about security.
And this
for programming jobs.
Yes. So basically, it says that basically it recommends a Microsoft Certified Professional as a certification that makes sense, and Scrum Master as a certification that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have any mention of actual skills in regard to project, because what I want to see in a CV is a project that you can actually name. Point direction in and say, okay, this is a project that I did. So this website was something that I did. This front end, this back end,
something.
I optimized Netflix to whatever, because this is what makes a programmer good programmer. Actually being able to say, okay, I saw this, because when I was in the interviews that were trying to find a system engineer or system developer, whatever, usually what got people through was when they offered deeply complex problem that they solved, and then somebody from the on the other side of the table got hooked on it and asked additional questions, And then they suddenly stopped talking about all the different technologies. They went in depth for that particular problem, how it was solved, and it was if it was interesting for somebody.
Engaging topic.
And engaging for somebody, usually this person got invited for another round of interviews.
Two things. That's excellent point. Thing number one, to kind of like conclude my first part of the conclusion that we are going to have a discussion about this later on some other CVs, different types. I would say that this is a very clear, let's say, kind of like almost distinctive proof that ChatGPT is trained. How should I put this? Is trained on live data that's taken, for example, from, I don't know, LinkedIn or whatever.
Probably
Doesn't really matter what it is. So it means that it has those system engineering, programming, whatever jobs in. It digested all of that, learned what it could from that, made some connections from that and everything. But it clearly shows that this type of technology is so heavily reliant on the source data that it is impossible to correctly use it in a lot of situations.
I think that this technology actually misses one important point. You would get...
It is biased to the data set.
Yes, it is biased to the data set, but the data set itself has one big weakness. And this is that we actually don't know which of these CVs were successful, which weren't.
Correct.
So it lacks the ability to understand what is a successful CV. It is able to say, okay, this is a CV, but it feels the same as if I asked it to create a telephone directory. It knows what the telephone directory is, but it doesn't understand what the purpose of the telephone directory is.
Yeah.
So it doesn't understand what makes a CV successful. So it is unable to create successful CVs.
Okay.
It's just creating text. And
the second thing that I wanted to add, you were mentioning how, let's say, job seekers want to see projects that companies who are hiring people want to see job seekers who apply to the jobs. Let's say mention some of the projects that you can point the right direction in and discuss that, etc. I agree with you. That's exactly the reason why we are trying to do stuff related to projects here as a part of our education, because students still haven't figured this out, because somebody needs to tell them that. They're still not kind of like, they haven't decided that that's a smart thing. Only a couple of them did what I'm about to say. Their projects that they do for our classes are their portfolio.
Yes, but the problem is that they don't have any experience in the CV and in the CV market and the job market itself.
I've seen 2 students so far using previous projects that they did here as a part of their CV. Only 2 in 11 years that I've been here.
The problem is that a good CV, from my perspective, requires 2 things. You need to show a weakness that you can demonstrate and then get out of by talking your way out. So it's much better for you to create this weakness that is going to be standing out extremely from the CV so that everybody hooks on it. And then you need another hook that is going to be positive, that is going to show your good points and your skill sets and your proficiencies. So basically you need 2 hooks, one good and one bad. Your bad hook should be bigger than a good one, but should be easily explainable. And then you need another thing to talk about.
So white one and the red one.
Yes.
I like that.
Because this is the way when that always got me through when I needed to talk to somebody. I offered them 3 solutions. Because then I'm offering them dilemmas. So they need to think about those 3 solutions. And then I can get my way in because I can choose which 2 I'm talking about.
You're talking from the perspective of a person who is questioning.
Who is being questioned.
Being questioned, okay.
Because so I want to take the control over the conversation.
Of course you do.
So I need 2 or 3 things that are going to be the main topics. And I want them to stand out from my CV so that they are being talked about, because then I can direct my conversation towards them. And this is a thing that actually works.
This is called NLP, man. It's called manipulation, but if you have real knowledge,
it's called job hunting.
It's in the interest of the company that you are trying to get hired from.
I don't think that this is called NLP. It is NLP. NLP is part of it. But the idea is that my experience in writing editorials and writing actual for the journals shows when I need to misdirect people. So this is misdirection.
It is.
It's normal misdirection, and I think this is part of the normal business negotiation, normal work, normal buying of things, normal saying of things.
You want to point out your strengths.
So
That's it.
I'm offering myself for $14.99 this month only. Limited by supplies last.
Yeah. I just wanted to give you a small burn because you said you don't like NLP, but you are implementing it.
No. I think that NLP is just having a bad name and giving a bad name to something that is much more complex than this. So
I don't think it's giving a bad name.
yes, I think that when people are talking the NLP, they are completely ignoring a lot of other things that are much more deep when it comes to psychology.
You know that our approach to that topic is exactly the same. We are not talking about NLP as standalone topic that exists in a vacuum.
Yes, but
Most people
you
are.
and me are outliers on this.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who basically say, okay, NLP is the solution. And these are the people that I'm talking about. So
agree.
they are giving NLP a bad name.
No argue from me.
It just
Mr. Bon Jovi.
yes. The problem is that giving a bad name to NLP is something that I'm going to always stand behind, because people think that by knowing NLP, or knowing in big quotation marks, they know how to work, how to influence people. It's not only that. You
agree.
need to have a lot more experience in other things. So I hate when people say, okay, this is NLP, because it is, but it's not only that.
Okay. I just wanted to kind of like point this out for another reason.
Okay?
I was absolutely sure that our conversation is sooner or later is going to end up in NLP because this is related to some of the topics that we're discussing. Actually, I wanted to approach this from a completely different perspective. A future episode is going to be about education from our perspective as teachers, and specifically for the modern age in the era of digital media. So how to record a video, how to create a short lesson about something, stuff like that. Because the methodology of that, the methodology plus NLP of that is way different than doing it in the old analog way. I think we have a lot to say about that.
But this is
More like an educational, let's say, podcast. Not about education, educating about.
Yes, but it's called methodics, and this is something.
It's not only that.
Yes, but methodics actually includes NLP and everything else in under different names. So engagement in methodics is basically NLP.
Okay.
How to create material that is going to be engaging for the student.
Yes, but when I went to secondary musical school and in primary school, a little bit of that happened as well. We had a 2-year methodology class.
Okay.
In which we were supposed to go and act as teachers, in a sense, for small children. Let's say, before they entered musical school, they had like a preschool for music.
Okay.
I can tell you that what I learned there stayed with me forever, because if you can engage with children, you can engage with anybody. It's not a problem. After that, because children are the most energetic and the most demanding, in a sense, of how to get their attention, especially when you're trying to educate them about something.
I am right now biting my tongue pretty heavily, because what I wanted to say, I'm going to say it anyways, because I'm like that. I don't think that teaching 4-year or 5-year-old children is much different than some of the students that I have been dealing with.
I knew that you were going to say that, and you are way wrong.
I think that what is better when we are dealing with children is that they're much more open to new suggestions, and they don't have preconceived conceptions about things. And
yes, but they are also way different in their perspective. All of them are different in terms of how they were brought up. Their habits and whatnot.
Yes. But
no, it's way more difficult.
This applies to some students also.
It does.
Yes.
Of course.
So I'm just going to joking aside. I'm just going to say that there are a lot of similarities between young students.
Yeah, there are, but not as much as you think.
But when they get older, it gets much easier.
It does. Absolutely does. Okay. I just wanted to kind of like sidetrack into that discussion, because I actually thought about this today, because we have hundreds and thousands of hours of online education specifically, and it's especially in the COVID era. The stuff that we learned there, you cannot unlearn.
I think that in the COVID era, whoever was trying to push themselves to see how this thing works and how the online education works, because both you and me, we did some trials of things that are completely unconventional.
Yes.
We stayed up extremely late talking to the students.
Yeah.
We organized online meetings that weren't about anything. They were just online meetings in order to get people to talk to each other, to try to be open about their problems and so on. So to try to alleviate some of the problems that were created by the COVID and the isolation that COVID actually brought upon us. We also had that brief time when in Croatia, especially in Zagreb, because this is specific to Zagreb, after the earthquake, when everything was closed. And this was especially mentally tiring time for all the students.
Yes.
Because the rest of the countries or rest of the population in the world got more or less just locked down. But you also got a complete lockdown because parts of the city weren't working. So you not only couldn't get out, but nothing was happening outside. So it felt completely like a void. And this created its own set of problems.
Yes.
And we dealt with those problems by using completely unorthodox approaches.
Yeah, but completely reasonable ones.
Yes, but I think that not only those reasonable ones, but those approaches created another way of thinking when we think about online learning. Because
they did.
Because I see that both you and me have much more lenient way of talking about when we are dealing with online learning. But at the same time, we both decided to have the best equipment. We understood where the equipment has its own use cases and the things to do and things to say when it comes to online learning.
Yeah. There's a time and place for those things.
Yes, and this is something that made us different from all the other people who were doing the same things.
Yes.
Because they didn't try to do some stuff that we did.
Yeah, but we got heavily awarded for that.
I'm not calling that awards. I'm just going to say...
No, from the student's perspective, those are awards.
Yes, but I don't think this is an award. I think this is just a normal interaction. Because what we got back was normal interaction.
No, I was referring to the surveys.
Yes, but we got back normal interaction.
Personally, it was
when all the other people, got, I wouldn't say blocked, but emotionally blocked.
Okay.
So we got a lot of the things that we thrown at the students. We got back.
Yeah. Okay. Two more examples because this doesn't have to take 2 hours. The next job that I asked ChatGPT to write a CV for was for a data scientist.
Okay.
Name of the person is Data Jedi, or the, let's say, nickname. Objective: to use my mastery of data analysis and visualization to help organizations navigate complex data landscapes, much like a Jedi Master guides their Padawans through the galaxy.
Okay.
Can I conclude something from this? When it doesn't have enough search data that it's kind of like digested, it starts spewing out such nonsense, complex nonsense, which can be understood by people who understand those terms, but not by normal person who is, let's say, sifting through the CVs in some kind of a, let's say, any company. This is very difficult to read. I have to, I need a liter of coffee and some chocolate to understand this because my brain is having difficulty digesting this. I think this is related to the data set and to the learning process. And it's another reason why I constantly am saying, and I'm going to keep on saying it, this is not mature enough to be used in production.
I think this is mature enough to be used in production, but under...
strict regulations.
Under any normal term of using in production, this should be heavily supervised. And this is a tool.
Who's going to do that?
The person who is writing the CV.
No, they are not.
Because the person who is writing the CV should be able to understand that this CV is completely incomprehensible. And if somebody is trying to sell me, and if it's writing on my behalf, I can spend 2 to 3 minutes to go through this and say, okay, I don't understand this, and this is supposed to describe me. So I shouldn't be sending this
As if being self-critical is something that a lot of people do well.
or do at all. But yes. And just one more note. When we were talking about data sets, I think that the biggest problem that people don't understand about the data sets is this. For the things that are general, so like a CV for data scientist, there is a huge data set. Okay, not so huge as, for example, for the software engineer.
Obviously.
Yes, but when it comes to details about the data scientist, the data set is extremely small. This is the same thing as when you ask AI to provide you with source code for something. If you ask a general question that is easily recognizable and has been done thousands of times, if not tens of thousands of times, for example, you ask for a, quick sort in my Python, it is going to provide you with an excellent answer. But if you ask a very specific question for a very specific topic, it is not going to find enough information in the dataset. Then it's going to start to hallucinate, and you're going to end up with something completely unuseful.
I would call this semi-hallucinating what it's writing.
I think this is completely hallucinating.
This is like the AI equivalent of writing hallucinating CVs, if I ask me. Thank you for mentioning sort. I had a very cool interaction with my students about that yesterday. We're going to talk about that later. Okay, and I'm going to use just one more example. I also asked ChatGPT to create a CV for a person who is into digital marketing.
Okay.
Which tends to be a popular thing today. Social media expertise, Google AdWords, whatnot.
Okay.
This is when it really got off the rails. So I did not tell it in any shape or form to start acting like let's say, a Hollywood reporter or something. But it started with name John McClane. I was laughing at this because it's funny. Summary: innovative and results-driven digital marketing expert with 10 years of experience in developing and executing with successful marketing campaigns, which include SEO, SEM, PPC, email marketing, social media, content marketing, blah, 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 personal experience, whatnot. And then led a team of digital marketing specialists in developing and executing successful marketing campaigns across multiple channels, including email, social media, and search. Cliffhanger, I hate email marketing, as any sane person should. Developed and implemented SEO strategies to increase website traffic and improve search engine rankings, blah, 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 blah. And then another one, at which point I would say that ChatGPT kind of told me that it's getting fed up with my questions, in a sense. That's the vibe that I got from it. Because it started basically profiling and insulting, in a sense. Not me, but the non-existent person that it is writing CV to. Karen, I know what's best Smith. Fantastic name. Summary: seasoned social media manager with passion for developing and executing innovative campaigns across various platforms, blah, 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 not afraid to take risks or think outside the box to achieve results. Experience, blah, 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 skills. Proficient in social media management tools including Hootsuite, Buffer, Sprouts Social, HubSpot, whatnot. Excellent communication and collaboration skills. When I read this, Karen, I know what's best, Smith. I was like, are you insane? And actually, before that, I told it to create me a CV with a little bit more sarcastic vibe. It refused. And I then, just like we discussed in one of the episodes, I kind of like went around that problem by saying that's okay, just be a little bit ironic.
Okay, I wouldn't call this a touch of irony.
Me neither.
Because this is not irony.
This is punch in your face irony.
This is just bad. But let me go back to the first CV that you showed. Because the problem that I see is one of the, since I'm used to quick reading things, it mentions proficiency. No. Don't first the
first
John McClane.
John McClane.
John McClane, yes.
No problem. We're going to find that. Go ahead.
I see that it mentions being proficient in the Google Ads and Bing Ads in campaigns. Bing Ads has been, I checked, has been dead since 2019. So it's a 4-year-old name change that has happened. It's called Microsoft Edge now. And it's scary that Microsoft's own engine doesn't know how technology is called right now. And I would be completely disregarding this, because if a marketing person doesn't know what one of the biggest ad platforms is called, I have a problem with them.
Me too.
So this shows that the initial data that it is basing this on is extremely small. It has a big problem because it is based on probably a couple of CVs that were completely doctored. So
and old.
So this is something that I just, awards and honors, can lie on award.
Okay.
What's next? Red dot.
Yeah. Imagine receiving this CV. Now try to think of this. Imagine receiving this CV as somebody who is doing the job hunting. What do you do? And then we're going to talk about the person sending this for a second.
I'm just going to ask one question.
Which is?
How did you get the Cannes Lion Award for Best Digital Marketing Campaign based on your 10-year experience 13 years ago? So how this discrepancy happened? Because this shows complete lack of respect for the time.
You think the time goes in linear fashion?
In marketing, it doesn't, but...
That's correct. In sales as well.
Yes, so this is something that immediately comes to my mind when I look through I want to see a timeline. I think about timelines. So when I see a CV...
I want to see when stuff.
No, I want to understand how.
No, you do want to see when that person was hired by multiple companies.
Because from this CV, it seems like this person came like a meteor with Cannes Lion Award, and then 8 years later he was in top 50 digital marketing influencers, and then now he doesn't know how the platforms are called, and he's just applying for a job. So basically, he's on a downward spiral, and this spiral is not good.
And you don't want to hire that person.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's go back to the person who sends something like this, because this is very important to understand. Kind of like this summation of all that we discussed. The problem with this is that it doesn't have enough information. Because of that lack of information, because it's prone to hallucinating, as we call it, or imagining things, it writes incorrect data. It has old data. And as a result of that, pardon my bad French, but it can make a complete ass out of you. Problem with all of those, when you combine them, is basically you as a person, you come off as being lazy, don't know stuff, you don't write this is easy to recognize. You spotted it like in 2 seconds. And the level of responsibility that exists here from both sides is different to what it is now.
Yes, but I think that the biggest problem is going to be how to spot these CVs in the huge sea of CVs that are going to be applying for every job.
There is no answer to that question.
Yes, I know. This is the biggest problem, because you can basically scratch these CVs out from any reasonable job application as such. And who is going to be the person who is going to see the other ones?
Because I have no idea. I hope I'm not.
Because I want to see what and how is going to happen with this when the other AI starts looking for CVs that make sense. Because I can just ask my AI to say, okay, give me the CVs that make sense, or give me the CVs that are, 10% outliers in regards to a standard CV. Give me a CV that is not standard. Give me a CV that is completely bonkers.
You want to go metadata / attribute data.
Yes, because what I want to see is, give me the CV that is completely crazy. I want to see what is the outlier. What are the outliers? So suddenly, if you are a normal person that did normal jobs for normal amounts of time, you invested in yourself, and you were basically off the radar, you're going to remain off the radar because nobody's going to spot you in the sea of CVs.
Yes.
So you're going to,
Keep on being invisible.
or you need to, we are going to create another set of marketing skills that are going to be called AI engine optimizations. So AIO,
Spotting engine,
whatever.
spotting optimizations.
So AIO, whatever. And this is going to be a new skill that is going to be something that people are going to look for. And then if you ask people who is going to be the marketing consultant for AIO, and this is going to be he's going to tell you that he has been doing this for the last 10 years, at least, out of the last 1 year that AI was on the market, and that he's extremely good at it.
Okay, but that still leaves one more question that
Yes.
we need to answer. What about our CV as a service?
Now we have two services.
CV as a service and
AIO.
oh Lord, who's going to remember that?
But we can do a site. We can do a single page site to see if there is a market for this.
Please, for the love of Christ, no.
AI engine optimization, AIEO. And I bet that this is going to happen.
Yes, it is, absolutely.
It is going to happen.
Human nature.
We need to be the first ones to get our hands on it.
We need to be the first ones to get traction.
Yes. So, okay, traction is complicated, but the first one on the market. Okay.
With that being said,
let's wrap this thing up because we are going to hallucinate our way.
We are going to hallucinate our way into thought process.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for watching us. Bye.
Bye.